Hello, football fans. The Big D is ready as we start our predictions for the 2024 NFL season. We talk bold predictions today. Before I bring in Alex, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where well, you can see whether or not our predictions are right on the money or out the pasture. Also, check out the Big D podcast for the audio listeners, Spotify and Apple. So, joining me, next to CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, what the third highest paid receiver in the NFL?
Oh, well, I wish that was the case, Dylan, but thank you as always for the lovely introduction. Happy to be here. And, NFL kickoff is right around the corner. We are finally just about there and excited to talk about some bold predictions for the upcoming 2024 NFL season.
Yeah, I mean, everybody tries to predict the 2024 NFL season, whether it be divisional picks, MVP picks, wild cards, Super Bowl, Rookie of the Year. And we'll discuss more of that later. But today, I'm going to go big, I'm going to go bold, and I want to go brash because it's bold prediction episode. Now, we can't sit. Now, we have set a couple of guidelines. Would you repeat those guidelines?
We're going to be doing 5 bold predictions each. These can relate to just standard NFL players, standings, teams, or even fantasy football elements as well. So everything's on the table when we're talking bold predictions here.
Except the Kansas City Chiefs win the AFC West.
That's right. Yeah. I think they've proven time and time again that that's not as bold of a claim as some people might have thought it used to be.
All right, so Alex, what is your number 5 prediction?
All right, my number 5 prediction is going to be that Justin Fields makes Pittsburgh Steelers fans forget that Russell Wilson is on the team. I'm really just going to go into that primarily. I'll start with point number 1. Russell Wilson is not the Russell Wilson that we saw as a member of the Seattle Seahawks. It's been unfortunate because he's been a quarterback I've grown up with and loved watching over the span of his career. But Father Time has no enemy, and lots of enemies, but no solution, it really seems like, because I just see Russell Wilson on a steady decline, much similar to, the likes of Drew Brees, who really kind of fell off towards the end of his career. Unfortunately for Russell Wilson, Drew Brees knew when to hang it up. I think it's just there's too much of a hostile environment in Pittsburgh. The fans demand success. They haven't seen a losing season under the Mike Tomlin era, and I think it's going to be a pretty ugly start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think fans are going to demand a change, and Mike Tomlin doesn't want to lose that winning season record and streak. So, I don't think it'll take much for the Steelers to switch over from Justin Fields. I don't expect Russell Wilson to be much of anything when it comes to a consistent quarterback for the Steelers. And just because I really don't think that we fully saw the full Justin Fields experience in Chicago. I think that there's plenty of opportunity, whether it's in the air, whether it's on the ground. He has a strong running game already in Pittsburgh with a nice, kind of two-headed committee there with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. Obviously, a couple talented receivers in the group. And Justin Fields, with the coaching under Mike Tomlin, I really do see potential there. And again, these are bold predictions. It's not necessarily a lock or telling you to place any money down on these decisions. But I do see Justin Fields as a bold prediction very quickly taking over the starting job from Russell Wilson, and even going as far as saying that Steelers fans will be happy for the change.
I just hope Cordell Patterson doesn't steal all of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren touchdowns this year.
Yeah, that's. I know that you're pretty high on them, especially in those best ball drafts. So I could definitely see where that would be a problem for you.
Well, my number 5 prediction involves a coach in the NFC South. Not only am I predicting Dennis Allen is fired, I believe Dennis Allen is canned by Halloween.
Wow. Wow.
I think Dennis Allen's the first coach to get fired this year. Not only have the Saints underachieved the past couple of years, since he's become the full head man from Sean Payne, but this Henry Miller situation become a fiasco. As to wondering, like, whether Henry Miller's hurt, whether he's playing, like, what's going on? Like, A.T. Perry was a starter last year, and now he's not a starter. Like, I don't get what's happening to the Saints. A lot of people thought the Saints were going to win the NFC South last year, and they bombed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the Saints schedule, and it is not fun to start. I mean, Carolina, at Dallas, Philadelphia, at Atlanta, at Kansas City, Tampa, and then, oh yeah, Sean Payton coming back to New Orleans. That might be 5. That might be 2-5, 1-6.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't think the Saints will be good this year. I think I think there's a great possibility we see who was the rookie quarterback the Saints drafted from college.
Book.
Not Ian Book, but the rookie from South Carolina.
I can't remember his name. Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, I think there's a chance we see Spencer Rattler play.
Yeah.
At the end of the year. I just think the Saints are going to be bad. They're in salary cap hell every year, and this year I think it's going to catch up to them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Atlanta Falcons fans know a thing or two about Dennis Allen, and I think be a couple of them, standing by your claim there or your bold prediction there. I definitely don't see him as a head coach of the franchise around at the moment. Unfortunately, I just don't think there's enough talent on the team, and it's tough with you're talking about schedule, and you really need a head coach, especially if you're not, expected to be, at the top of your conference or even at the top of your division. You need a head coach who can be there to right those players' mindsets, if they do start piling up some losses. And I agree. I don't think Dennis Allen is the guy to make that
happen. My number 4 prediction this year, there will be a new MVP this year. I'm sick and tired of Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers winning every MVP. There's plenty of non-MVP quarterbacks out there. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Trevor.
Yeah.
Tua. Dak was wrong. Well, Tyreek Hill's never going to win an MVP.
Nah.
Dak? I think we see in the NBA where, after a while, LeBron never won an MVP. And then Steph never won an MVP. And the voters always gave it to, like, Russ with triple-doubles or James Harden or Joel Embiid because the voters were sick of giving Joker MVPs. I think we'll have a new MVP this year.
I like it. I definitely agree with you. I've had a hatred of the MVP award just because I think that they need to rename it the Most Valuable Quarterback Award because that's all it really seems like the position's meant for anyway. But
unless Adrian Pearson rushes for 2,000 yards,
right? But it would be great to see a bit of a change of the guard. I think everyone. I think it's safe to say everyone but Kansas City Chiefs fans are tired of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs dominating every season. Obviously Lamar has his 2 MVPs already. So it would be nice for a bit of a change at the top of the podium. And, hopefully one of the T quarterbacks in awkward T will take it to make one of us happy. But, we'll just have to see about that.
What's your number 4 prediction?
Going to my number 4 prediction, I have both my number 4 and number 3 are fantasy football related. I'm going to start with number 4. I have bold prediction number 4. Jaden Daniels finishes as a top 10 fantasy football quarterback. I think there is a lot of intrigue about this Washington Commanders football team. I mean, even you know, in our division previews, I think Mr. Dillon himself had the Washington Commanders as.
Well, wait.
Oh,
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
okay.
Don't say it. You saying saying Dylan's got the Washington Commanders as what? Somewhat good this year, maybe?
Maybe as NFC East division champions?
I don't know.
Maybe something like that. But I, honestly, just Jane Daniels, I know we haven't seen him a whole lot in preseason. He had a really good showing against my Miami Dolphins in week 2 of the preseason. I think he went 11 of 13. Let me see. I can actually bring it up here. 10 of 12, 78 passing yards. So, I mean, nothing too crazy, but obviously showed some consistency there. He's going to have a factor on the run, which, you know, when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to the quarterback position in fantasy football, having that mobile aspect is huge when it comes to, you know, jumping up the rankings. And I think there's a lot of quarterbacks who can kind of take a step back this season. I think it's the year of the rookie. I think we're going to see a lot of rookie talent popping up this year, you know, when it comes to obviously supporting their NFL team as well as, you know, fantasy managers, teams across the country. And I just think the Washington Commanders have a really solid football game. They've got a football team. They'll have a strong run game. They've got a decent tight end in Logan Thomas. Obviously, Terry McLaurin is still there.
I don't think Logan Thomas is there right now, but Zach Ertz and who's still Zach Ertz is still in Washington.
That's right. Yeah, mixed up my tight ends there, but either way, the point still stands. I see a lot of potential out of Jaden Daniels, and I think top 10 is attainable when it comes to fantasy production.
And we all love quarterbacks with running upside, right?
Absolutely.
So what's your number 3 prediction?
My number 3 is also going to stay in the fantasy football realm. I wouldn't say it's the most bold prediction ever, but you know, I definitely think that there's no one would be placing the bet with a whole lot of confidence. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown as my bold prediction number 3, finishing as the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football this season. When I'm looking at the top tier wide receivers in the National Football League, I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb, who, as of today, breaking news, just signed his new contract with the Dallas Cowboys. So I know a lot of people who are maybe a little bit hesitant about drafting CeeDee Lamb just because of the potential holdout. That has been eased, and I think he has locked himself into, you know, a top 1, top 2 pick in fantasy football. But when I look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, I see the highest floor maybe of any first-round pick in fantasy football. That offense is going to be electric. We know what Jared Goff can do with that Detroit Lions offense. They're going to have Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, and Jahmyr Gibbs as kind of the showpieces. But I think the sky is the limit for this Detroit Lions offense. I think that they could be one of the most dominant teams in the NFC this season. And, you know, looking at CeeDee Lamb, like, yes, I do think obviously he should be the wide receiver 1 going into this season. Projection-wise, I'm not taking anything away from CeeDee Lamb. Look at Tyreek Hill. Obviously, he's the most dangerous player in the NFL. He very well so has a chance to finish as the wide receiver 1. There is some injury concerns there. With the Dallas Cowboys, I have a little bit of concerns just about the Cowboys in general and if they really can get over this hump. With Amon-Ra, I just see consistent production, high volume target share, high powered offense, and you know, obviously we don't have a whole lot of tape on him through. You know, he hasn't been in the league 5, 6, 7 years or anything like that, but has primarily stayed away from injuries for the most part. You know, everyone gets banged up here and there, but you know, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has the potential as a bold prediction to finish as the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football this year.
And if you're in a guillotine league, which we both are, you were until week 1 last year.
Okay.
I think Amon-Ra's a really good guillotine pick, especially with the Lions' early schedule.
For sure. And really just for, I think a lot of the same points there. I mean, I think the floor is so high just because of you know, the passing offense and you know, the points that they are going to put up. You know, the Detroit Lions are going to be putting up points this year. And as long as he can stay away from that injury bug, which, you know, as I said, he has done a pretty good job at so far in his career, you know, I really think that he's high ceiling, high floor, and that's everything you're looking for in a fantasy football pick.
My third bold prediction is I think a team from the NFC West plays on Championship Sunday, but it's not the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, there you go.
I think the Los Angeles Rams play on Championship Sunday, and heck, they might even play in the Super Bowl.
That's a bold statement right there, Dylan. You want to break that down for us?
Yes. Here's why. To win a Super Bowl, you need a top 10 quarterback and a really good head coach. Matt Stafford's a top 10 quarterback. Actually, he's number 5 in my quarterback rankings. And Sean McVay, we know how good he is.
Yeah.
I look at the Rams offense. They've got one of the best wide receiver duos in Cooper Kupp. 2 really good young running backs, Kieran Williams, Blake Holm. Offensive line, there's some injuries, but Sean McVay can get that going. Defensively, everybody's going to say the Rams are going to miss Aaron Donald, of course, but the Rams have drafted a couple really good defensive linemen, and I think I look at nobody predicted the Rams to even make the playoffs last year. I think the Rams are going up. Meanwhile, the 49ers are going down. I think the Rams are a legitimate Super Bowl contender in an NFC where I think they're all 3 teams and 3, maybe 4 teams capable of playing on Championship Sunday, if not playing in New Orleans this year.
Yeah. And, I think one key thing that you mentioned there is, on top of the NFC, if the LA Rams were in the AFC, they might be a wild card team. They might not even make the playoffs. So that's how stacked the AFC is this season. But that NFC, man, it really is up for grabs. Like obviously there's the teams that, you're going to expect who are going to finish, somewhere near the top. I think a lot of people would say the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, that's debatable when it comes to your opinion there. Dallas Cowboys are definitely, going to be in the running for that. At least fans of the Cowboys think they are going to be. But, there's a lot more up for grabs in the NFC, I think. Whereas the AFC, it's just so stacked. There's so many of the elite quarterbacks in that conference. And, there's multiple divisions that are expecting to have 2 playoff teams this season. So, I definitely think the key is, obviously being in that NFC, I think the hardest thing for them is going to be beating the San Francisco 49ers, in that divisional race and really having the easiest track towards the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. But, with your logic, I can see where you're coming from there.
And then my number 2 prediction, this. I think the Washington Commanders win the NFC East. I don't care if they trade Jahan Dotson. I don't care if the Commanders have a number 2. I don't care if the Washington Commanders have a number 2 receiver or not. There's no mediocrity in Washington. I like all the positive momentum there. I'm worried about Philadelphia because even though Jalen Hurts may be a great fantasy quarterback, he didn't finish off last year strong. And the Eagle coaches are coaching for the job this year. And if the Eagles suck this year, Nick Sirianni's getting canned. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie would fire the GM, but Washington's got all kinds of new, fresh blood in there. And there's always one surprise team. My Jags were the surprise team in 22. Houston was the surprise team last year. Could it be Washington as the surprise division winner?
Yeah, and I now see why you wanted me to cut my prediction short there a couple minutes earlier. But, I definitely I don't think we need to spend too much time diving into that. We both have similar opinions there when it comes to bold predictions, whether it's just at the quarterback position or for the Washington Commanders as a whole. And then where are we? Your number 2 or my number 2?
Number 2.
All right. So my number 2 bold prediction, and if you watched our very last divisional preview, you might have heard this from me already. But my bold prediction number 2, the New York Jets miss the playoffs this year. I think a lot of people have very high expectations for the Jets going into this season. They had, just like they had very high expectations going into last season up until the third snap of the New York Jets regular season. But I just, and I am going to echo some of the sentiment that I had said in our AFC East division preview. But in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers was going downhill in his last season in Green Bay. I was seeing the Aaron Rodgers that looked his age, as opposed to the MVP caliber Super Bowl winning Aaron Rodgers that we saw with the Packers. Now you've got him joining a new franchise. Obviously, yes, he's had a whole year to learn the playbook and learn the offense and learn his team, but he didn't play last season. And you ask any NFL player, I can guarantee you that they'll say, if you miss a regular season of NFL football, it's not all about rehabbing the injury. It's not all about making sure you know the playbook and know your assignments or whatever it is. You're not in that speed. You can't replicate the speed of an NFL game until you're actually in one. I don't care about preseason. I don't care about joint practices. I don't care about training camp. There's nothing like a true regular season football game. Aaron Rodgers hasn't seen one in almost over a full season now. And I just don't trust that roster. I don't trust Robert Saleh. I think the defense will be good. I don't think they will be as elite as New York Jets fans think they are. And I just don't see Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback that the Jets think that they have and being the quarterback that he thinks he still is. It's a stacked AFC. It's a stacked division. And I see the Jets missing the playoffs right about 9-8, right around 500.
Actually, I have the Jets finishing about 6-11, 7-10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving them more credit than you are, but I still consider it a bold prediction. I think I've seen a lot of people having the Jets winning the AFC East, and
in the Super Bowl bubble.
Yeah, I don't see that at all. I think there's too many question marks. We're giving praise to a team that we haven't even seen on the field. I don't care, if how many players they brought back from last season. I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers play in 2 football seasons, and now he's recovering from blown Achilles. And he took a different method than everyone else who's ever fixed it. I mean, yes, he came back quicker. I know he was trying to make a run to come back last season, which he might have been able to do if they were in contention. But who knows? Who says that's that different repairment strategy or technique that he used is going to pay off? Not saying I think or want him to get injured again. We've got a lot of question marks for the New York Jets and not a whole lot of answers to this
point. Okay, Alex, number 1. This has got to be big. This has got to be bold. This has got to be beautiful. What is your number 1 bold prediction?
Well, number 1 is a bit of a prediction after my own heart. And it is big, it is bold, and it's record-breaking. The Miami Dolphins will break the streak of 24 seasons without a playoff victory. In my lifetime, have never seen the Miami Dolphins win a playoff game. Their last playoff win was in the year 2000. I was 3 or 4 years old, and I'm not going to claim to remember watching that game. There's too much talent on paper. I think Tua's figured out he's going to make an even bigger step up than he did last season. Everyone said that he couldn't play 17 games. He did it. The offense is going to be less focused on getting Tyreek Hill to 2,000 yards and more focused on being a productive all-around offense. The defense has made some crucial signings to replace the players that left. There are a couple players that are irreplaceable, like Christian Wilkins, but people do not give nearly enough credit to Zach Sealer on that interior defensive line last year, and he's still going to be there. I think some of the rookie additions, Chop Robinson is going to step right in with Bradley Chubb starting the season on PUP. And this is the year. It's no more getting blown out in the playoffs. Mike McDaniel knows what a playoff win means to the Miami Dolphins fans. The players know what a playoff win means to the Miami Dolphins franchise and fans. And this is the year it's going to happen. The Dolphins are going to win a playoff game. And better yet, it'll be in Hard Rock Stadium after locking up home field advantage.
Interesting. You've got your team winning a playoff game. I'm going the other way. There's always a Super Bowl jinx for the team that loses the Super Bowl. This year, I think it's going to bite the San Francisco 49ers. I have the San Francisco 49ers missing the playoffs entirely.
Sheesh.
In fact, I don't have the Niners just missing the playoffs. I have the Niners finishing third, behind the Rams and the Seahawks.
Wow. Now that's a bold prediction, Dylan. So I got to figure this out because I'm looking at a team with Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel. As of now, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk you can even throw in there. He's one of the best fullbacks in the NFL, and they actually use him. Trent Brown. I haven't even got to the defensive side of the ball with Bosa. I mean, how can a roster that loaded, Kyle Shanahan as the head coach, how can a roster that loaded fail to make the playoffs, Dylan?
There's always a Super Bowl hangover for the team that loses the Super Bowl. Who knows if Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk signed because they've been holding out all camp.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy struggled throughout parts of the camp. Christian McCaffrey's dealt with a calf injury. Deebo Samuel and George Kittle aren't getting any younger. The right side of the offensive line is not great. And then defensively, yeah, San Francisco may have the best edge rusher in the league in Nick Bosa. Probably the best middle back in the league in Fred Warner.
Yeah.
But to me, this team, the 49ers' best chance to win the Super Bowl was last year because they played Pat Mahomes with no wide receivers. I mean, they got breaks with Jordan Love basically being a puppy, and the Lions, I don't know what you were doing, self-destructing.
Yeah.
I don't think San Francisco will get breaks this year. They were healthy last year. I don't think the Niners will be near as healthy. And then the schedule is brutal this year. At Green Bay, and at Buffalo late in the year. Trip to Miami, even though that might be a San Francisco home game. They also played the Rams twice, Kansas City. It's a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers pull back and miss the playoffs entirely.
Have to go at Buffalo, at Green Bay. Yeah, I mean, it is a brutal schedule. I'm looking at it right here. I mean, even home against the Cardinals is going to be a harder game than I think they'll think it is. It's definitely a brutal schedule, especially down the stretch. Oh, well, of course I got to play the Cardinals. I was just thinking early in the season. But, yeah, I mean, listen, you talk about Super Bowl hangovers, a team that loses the Super Bowl. I mean, you know, the 49ers not going back to the Super Bowl is one thing. Missing the playoffs and finishing third in the division is a whole other thing. But at the end of the day, that's why we call them bold predictions. And, you know, Dylan's going to stand by it just like I will stand by mine. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see how many of these, if any, or if all of them, you know, can pull through.
Oh, I mean, that was bold, right?
That was bold.
Okay, Alex, thanks for tuning into this bold episode of the Big D I can't even say it right. Big D podcast. Hopefully, our predictions come to fruition, and maybe we'll see the Rams and the Dolphins maybe play a meaningful playoff game. Oh wait, the Rams and Dolphins do play this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, at SoFi, right?
I believe so. Yep.
Because you host the Cardinals and 49ers at Hard Rock.
Yes, I know we play the 49ers at home. We have the Rams at SoFi, correct? Should be interesting. Maybe Super Bowl preview. Who knows? I would sure hope so. But you know, we've got 17 NFL games to figure that out.